headlights slice through the darkness on a quiet country road. And that's when she sees it. Hunched over on the shoulder, it's big. Way too big to be a dog. As her car gets closer, the thing slowly stands up on two muscular legs. It's covered in dark matted fur, with the head of a wolf, and then it turns and looks right at her. It doesn't run away into the woods. It runs into the road and starts chasing her car. In the quiet rural landscapes of Walworth County, Wisconsin, there's a stretch of pavement that's become legendary for all the wrong reasons. It's called Bray Road. For decades, this unassuming country lane near the town of Elkhorn has been the centre of a chilling and persistent mystery. Since the 1980s, and maybe even earlier, drivers and locals have reported terrifying encounters with a creature that defies any easy explanation. They describe a massive, hairy, wolf-like being that can stand and run on two legs, a creature with glowing eyes, a muscular frame, and a terrifying habit of chasing cars. It's been called a dogman, a cryptid, even a real-life werewolf, but it's best known by the name of the road it haunts, the Beast of Bray Road. Over the years, the stories have piled up, creating a case file filled with dozens of terrifying eyewitness accounts. They're stories of close calls on dark nights, of strange figures in cornfields, and of claw marks left gouged into car doors. So are these genuine encounters with an unknown animal? Or are they just misidentification, local folklore, or something else entirely? Tonight, we're opening the case file on one of America's most compelling modern legends to figure out what's really happening on Bray Road. The modern wave of sightings that put Bray Road on the map really kicked off in the late 1980s and early 1990s. The reports became so frequent that they caught the attention of a local newspaper, the Walworth County Week. The paper assigned a reporter named Linda Godfrey to investigate what seemed like a bunch of strange, but probably unrelated, animal sightings. Godfrey, who started out as a skeptic, began interviewing the witnesses. What she found wasn't a series of random tales, but a pattern. The descriptions were shockingly consistent: a large, muscular, two-legged canine with dark fur and a wolf's head. The witnesses she talked to were credible, everyday people who were genuinely terrified by what they'd seen. Her newspaper articles became a sensation, eventually leading to her definitive book on the subject, The Beast of Bray Road, Tailing Wisconsin's Werewolf. It was Godfrey's work that turned a local spooky story into a nationwide phenomenon. But the seeds of the legend were planted long before the 80s. The timeline of this creature, or something very much like it, seems to stretch back decades earlier. One of the first widely cited encounters happened in 1936 in neighbouring Jefferson County. A night watchman at the St. Coletta School for Exceptional Children, a man named Mark Shackleman, was making his rounds near a series of ancient Native American burial mounds on the property. He saw a figure hunched over one of the mounds, digging at the dirt. At first he thought it was a person, but as he got closer, the figure stood up. It was over 6 feet tall, covered in dark, shaggy hair, with a muscular body, but the snarling face of a wolf. Shackleman, a devout man, claimed the creature smelled of rotting meat and even uttered a 3-syllable guttural sound that he heard as Gadara, with the accent on the second syllable. He backed away, praying as the beast watched him before vanishing into the night. This historical account, buried for decades, shares unsettling similarities with the reports from Bray Road over 50 years later. A bipedal canine, an imposing height, and an aura of pure menace. These early accounts laid the foundation for the mystery. Was Mark Shackleman the first documented witness to the beast? Or was he seeing something even older, a creature tied to the very land itself? The sightings that followed would only deepen the mystery and ramp up the fear. The question wasn't if people were seeing something, but what they were seeing. As Linda Godfrey's investigation went on, the sheer number and consistency of the eyewitness accounts became impossible to just brush aside. These weren't vague shadows in the distance. They were harrowing, up-close encounters that left people shaken for years. Let's look at some of the most compelling reports, treating each one as a case file in this strange investigation. Our first file is about Laurie Endrizi, a local bar manager driving home on Bray Road in 1989. It was a routine drive she knew well, but on this night, her headlights caught a figure kneeling on the shoulder. Her first thought was that it was a person who might need help. As she slowed down, she got a better look. She was only about 6 feet away when she realised her mistake. It wasn't a person, it was covered in greyish-brown fur and was incredibly muscular, with a broad chest and shoulders. Then it turned its head and looked right at her. She saw a long, wolf-like snout, pointed ears and fangs, but the most terrifying part was its eyes. They were intelligent and they glowed with a sickly yellow light in her headlights. Endrizi slammed on the gas and fled. Her account is crucial because it established key details that would appear over and over: the kneeling posture, the grey-brown fur, the wolf-like head, and those piercing, intelligent eyes. Also, in 1989, a dairy farmer named Scott Bray, whose family the road is named after, had his own unsettling experience. He saw what he first wrote off as a strange-looking dog in his pasture near Bray Road. But the longer he looked, the more unnatural it seemed. It was much bigger than a German shepherd, with a powerful, deep chest. It moved with a purpose, almost like it was surveying its territory. After it disappeared, Bray went out to the pasture and found huge, unidentifiable footprints in the soil, a sign that something very large and very unusual had been on his property. Around the same time, another local named Russell Jest had an even more direct encounter. While near a thicket of bushes, he heard a loud rustling. Suddenly, a beast emerged, rising up on its hind legs. Jest described it as being covered in black and grey fur, larger than any dog he'd ever seen, but unlike in other cases, this creature didn't act aggressively. After standing for a moment, it dropped back to all fours and calmly walked toward Bray Road, as if it was just going about its business. This sighting is important because it highlights the creature's ability to switch from 4 legs to 2 with ease, a key feature in many dogman reports. Perhaps the most iconic and terrifying encounters are the ones where the Beast of Bray Road gives chase. These reports cemented its reputation as a uniquely aggressive cryptid, one that isn't afraid of people or their cars. One of the most famous cases involved a woman named Dorothy Gibson. In 1999, while driving on Bray Road, she felt a sudden, hard thud against her car, thinking she'd hit an animal. When she got out to check, she saw a massive, hairy figure charging at her out of the darkness. She scrambled back into her car just as the creature lunged. She claimed it leaped onto the trunk of her car, its claws scraping against the metal as it struggled for a grip on the rain-slicked surface before sliding off. When she later inspected her car, she found deep, distinct claw marks gouged into the trunk. In 1990, a group of teenagers, led by an 11-year-old named Heather Bowie, added another dramatic chase to the files. They were near Loveland Road, not far from Bray Road, when they saw what they thought was a big dog in a cornfield and called out to it. The creature stopped, looked at them, and then did something impossible. It stood up on its hind legs. It took a few wobbly steps toward them before dropping back to all fours and charging. The terrified kids ran for their lives. The beast chased them about halfway to Bowie's house before it suddenly stopped and vanished. These case files are just a sample of the dozens of sightings. But now we have to look at the other side, the skeptical explanations. The most common theory is simple misidentification. Skeptics argue that witnesses are just seeing known animals under stressful conditions. The prime suspects are grey wolves, which are occasionally found in Wisconsin, or large feral dogs. An unusually large wolf, especially one standing on its hind legs for a moment, could easily be mistaken for a monster in the dark. Another theory points to the American black bear. Bears are known to stand on their hind legs, and their size and dark fur match many descriptions. A bear with mange, a skin disease that causes hair loss, could look especially grotesque and unnatural. This might also explain why some witnesses see the creature eating roadkill, a common behaviour for bears. However, these explanations start to fall apart when you look closer at the most credible accounts. Could a bear really chase a car at high speed? Laurie Endrizi was only 6 feet from the creature. She's adamant its face was long and snouty like a wolf, not rounded like a bear's. Plus, many witnesses describe a creature with distinctly canine, backward-bending legs, a feature that neither a bear nor a person in a suit would have. This is the heart of the Bray Road mystery. The skeptical theories are logical, but they don't quite explain the most specific, recurring details from eyewitnesses. The consistency is what makes the legend so hard to dismiss. The case files from the 80s and 90s are compelling, but to really grasp the scale of this mystery, we have to go back to that 1936 account from Mark Shackleman. His encounter is arguably the most chilling and strange of them all. Remember, Shackleman saw the creature digging at an ancient burial mound. On his first sighting, he said it ran like a man, but he returned the next night. The creature was there again. This time, it stood to its full height, and he got a better look. He described its hands as strangely formed. His son later relayed that his father described the first and fifth fingers as shriveled or curled up. It smelled of decomposed meat, and then it made that sound he perceived as speech, the three-syllable growl, Gadara. Shackleman said that as he began to pray, the creature sneered at him before finally backing away. This account adds elements that go far beyond a simple monster sighting, desecrating a grave, the strange vocalization, the reaction to prayer. These details push the story into the realm of the supernatural. It suggests the beast might not just be an undiscovered animal, but something with intelligence and a malevolent purpose. Linda Godfrey herself noted that the proximity of so many sightings to these ancient mounds seemed like more than a coincidence. It raises a terrifying question. Is this creature a product of nature, or is it tied to a darker, ancient energy in the land itself? In the years since the main wave of sightings, the reports have slowed but never stopped. Encounters were still being reported in Walworth County as recently as 2018 and 2020, with witnesses describing the same large, hair-covered, upright creature. The legend has become a permanent part of Wisconsin folklore, inspiring books, documentaries, and even a horror film. So where does that leave us? We have a collection of stories that are too consistent to be a string of hoaxes, yet too strange to be easily explained by science. There's no body, no undisputed DNA, no clear photograph. There are only the accounts of terrified witnesses and the deep, unsettling claw marks they say the beast left behind. The theories remain. Is it a misidentified bear with mange, an escaped science experiment, or is it something more, a surviving relic species, a creature from Native American folklore, or a genuine lycanthrope, a real American werewolf? The truth about the Beast of Bray Road remains elusive, hidden somewhere in the dark woods and misty cornfields of rural Wisconsin. The eyewitnesses, many now older, still stand by their stories with unwavering conviction. They know what they saw on that dark road. The story of the Beast of Bray Road is more than just a monster hunt. It's a powerful reminder that even in our modern world, the shadows can still hold secrets. It taps into a primal fear, the fear of the predator in the dark, of something that looks almost human, but isn't. So what is the Beast of Bray Road? A misidentified animal, a lingering piece of folklore, or something else entirely? For now, it remains an open case file, a chilling question mark haunting a quiet country road. What do you believe? Have you ever seen something you couldn't explain? Share your story and your theories in the comments below.